Starting your own practice is hard for many chiropractors. It's riddled with both struggles and successes. But here at the Chiropractic Philanthropist, we make it easy by having chiropreneurs and entrepreneurs share their struggles and lessons learned in life and business so that you don't have to make the same mistakes. And now here's your host, Dr. Ed Osborne.
By now you should know that if you have not tapped into social media for your marketing, you have truly fallen behind. There are overloads of information out there about how you can do it, but it's tough for you to find the time. So this is it. Seriously, Doc. This is what we as chiropractors have been waiting for. Qualified new patients contacting you with no added effort. 3S Chiropractic Systems is the company run by chiropractors with years of web and social media marketing experience, offering you the complete, affordable, done-for-you package. Doctors are receiving 10 to 45 new patient requests every month, so the service is swooping across the globe and is geographically exclusive, so you find out right now if your area is still available. They offer full money-back guarantee for the first month, so there is no risk. Apply at 3schiropracticsystems.com/TCP to make sure you don't miss out.
All right, TCP listeners, I have an incredible guest today, and that is actually Amber Jones. Amber, how you doing today?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm amazing. I'm excited for the conversation today because I get to learn something completely new.
Awesome.
I'm completely transparent when it comes to this. Is my hook, by the way. So I'm just going to throw it in right now. So you got to wait till the end, ever docs that are listening. But I'm completely transparent. Look, I have no experience in running traffic for new patients into offices. I'm all about virtual practices. So this is going to be really interesting. I'm going to be throwing the questions probably that's in the mind of every doc right now as they're thinking about creating a Facebook ad campaign, but more importantly, one that's going to drive traffic to a dinner with a doc. So before we get started, Amber, share with us a little bit about you. Who are you? And, about, as a person, but also tell us about you as a marketer as well.
Okay, sure. As a person, I'm a servant. At least I try to be the best servant I can, a mother, wife. I'm a tomboy. I always have been. I love sports. I love crushing male egos on the basketball court. So love to dance, and I'm a music nerd. I absolutely love music. Play cello. I'm an orc dork. That's pretty much me in a nutshell as a person. One thing, though, that I noticed in the past is I've always had this passion to help people, and not just help people, but improve their quality of life. And so for me, when I was younger, I equated that to me working in the medical field. And so I was an ophthalmic technician. So I worked in an ophthalmologist office. It was pretty cool. I helped, assist with patient laser surgery, stuff like that. Loved it. Absolutely loved the hands-on part of it until I personally got sick. I had a panic attack out of the blue. Wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. So this I feel like this is important because this was kind of the shift in my life that I think is why I'm here today, honestly. I went to the doctor. The doctor said, you have anxiety disorder, the whole hoopla. I don't have to go into it too much, where they says, take the pill, go to therapy. Yeah, that's it. Put a Band-Aid on it. And at this point, I didn't know anything about alternative care, anything. All I knew is I was 22 years old. You didn't ask me about my weight, what I was eating. Something just didn't seem right. And so a week later, I met my first chiropractor, actually. And I kind of told him what was going on. And he says, let's get you in. Let's show you what the body can really do. And so I am a product of chiropractic. That was my eureka moment. I was like, dude, it makes sense. It's so simple. Remove the interference and give your body what it needs and give it a chance. And that was kind of my eureka moment. And my chiropractor asked me, would you consider going to school for it? And at that point, I was like, it's not for me. But I never forgot about that question. long story short, I lost my job because I wouldn't take a pill. Best thing that happened to me again. Became a personal trainer, and then I got pregnant and couldn't train. So I was like, man, I've got to reinvent myself. And so I started looking into network marketing, online marketing. And, you know, my daughter's 7 years old, so that was like 8 years ago. So I kind of reinvented myself online, and I absolutely just fell in love with just marketing in general. Had a chance to work for some big name people behind the scenes. A lot of your followers, you follow Russell Brunson. You know, you open up the first page in Expert Secrets, and he says he dedicates it to Dagan Smith. Well, yeah. I had opportunity to work behind the scenes with Dagan Smith for like 3 years. So I've seen the ups and downs, the ins and outs of like these digital marketing, just how to put yourself online digitally. And honestly, like about a year ago, I just says, why am I not utilizing my skills for a bigger purpose? So that's why I'm here today. Between my story, what happened with me, and my skill set, I'm just like, why am I not marrying the two together? And so I took a leap of faith, walked away from one of my big clients, and just says, you know what? Let's go for it. So that's kind of like why I'm here. I'm not a chiropractor, but I definitely can help other chiropractors get their message and reach the masses. So
I know that when we first met, like, and when I say we met, because it's so funny with social, you know, right? It's like when we started messaging back and forth,
right?
When we first met. And one of the questions I asked was, I'm like, why would you ever want to work in chiropractic? And you're like, well, because, you know, chiropractic, like you were like, I think you said like chiropractic saved your life. Like,
I really feel it
had a massive impact on your life. And I almost wanted to talk you out of but you're like, no, this is where I need to be. You know, I call it the voice, but so the voice was speaking to you, and you're like, okay, well, like, so I just wanted to find out more about what you're doing. So, and I so appreciate this because I know, you know, the time that it takes to reinvent yourself and to really get a lockdown on this stuff. And today, you know, well, let's start with our quote. I want to know what your positive quote or affirmation is. We'll start there, and then I'm going to go into the value.
Okay, so for me, I've always said always get better. Like, I want to make sure that I'm always getting better, and you can define that in many different ways, but I try to define that in every area of my life. How can I be a better mother? How can I be a better servant? How can I help other people be better and more efficient? So always get better. Awesome. I love it. Every day. Every day. Because if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. I'll tell you that. Yeah.
So here's why I scheduled this interview today, even though my schedule was so packed and everything, was because we're going to talk about the dinner workshop. We're going to talk about driving traffic and filling Doc's dinner with the Doc campaign. And to be honest with you, the reason why I was like really excited about this is because I know that you're pretty dangerous when it comes to marketing and figuring this stuff out. And I know that there's a lot of chiropractors who are paying a lot of money for this stuff too.
Right.
So whenever I can give, and you were like, Ed, I've hacked this stuff. I've done it for clients. I've got the results. I want to give as much as I can to. And there was like this. I'm like, awesome. Come on to the show and let's just fill everyone in. Okay, so let's start with this. Number one. I mean, this was really interesting to me is, first of all, you said to me, look, Ed, we have to find out whether it's actually a good fit for people. Can you expand on that? Like, is it a good fit for docs?
Right. So one of the things that I find is like, you have to know, will this fit you? Because it's something that's new, and there's a couple different things. Like, it's not just about the Facebook ad itself. It's not just about the ad agency that you hire. It really is a team effort. And so you have to have the certain things in place before you make, you know, I've seen people charge, you know, over $2,000 for running ads like for something like this. And so like, you don't want to just go throw away your money on something. So there's a couple things that have to be in place. So outside of what the agency or even your own ad efforts are. And so that's things like, you know, educate and evaluate where you're at currently. Are you currently doing dinners? If you are currently doing dinners, what are your numbers? Like, what is your average ratio? So if you average 10 guests on the average, of those guests, how many set that day one appointment. Kind of know those numbers. And then on top of that, those guests that come, are they referral guests? Or are these guests from different types of advertising avenues? Because a guest, depending on where they're coming from, they're at different stages. And so if these are referral guests, then they're going to be easier to close because they're a direct referral. If these leads are coming from outside, they've never heard of you, then you have to own up and accept that responsibility of, I have to earn these guys' trust. I have to earn these guys' trust. They don't know me. They don't have anyone directly in correlation with my practice, my clinic. So, yeah, I might have to, do a little bit of sales skills, right? So I think that's the biggest thing, is just realizing that the Facebook ad is not a Hail Mary. It's not a Hail Mary. You should not do it if you're desperately trying to keep from going bankrupt, because you have to allow yourself for a process. There's so many moving pieces to make it work, from the Facebook ad to the staff. Now, who's going to be doing the phone calls? Who's going to be calling back those leads? Do they have the time to do it so that they're not already overly stressed?
True.
I've worked in a doctor's office, so I know what it's like to be an assistant and I have to do 20 different things. And now you want me to call these strangers, that might hang up on me and my feelings might get hurt, So it's really just about, number one, evaluate, know your numbers. Number two, like I said, just know in your head that when you're using Facebook, these are not the equivalent to referral leads. These are cold leads. So they're cold. So you're going to have to work harder, and you gotta practice your sales skills. Don't be scared to sell. I don't understand. Anyway, that's a whole nother rant. I'm sorry.
We have to do a sales training.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because this is interesting that I'm going to just pull from what you just said, because this is something I think that may be missing in a lot of the components of people who are actually doing dinner with the doc campaigns, is that, you can take cold traffic and you can warm them up. Right. So it's not like your lead it's not like, hey, they didn't book, I'm done. It's actually, you can have a series or sequence of sequential emails that warm them up over time by providing them value. Right. And so you've actually included that in the gift that you're giving out today too, haven't you? Yeah,
I have. So
thank you for that.
Yeah, so no worries.
I'm going to come back to a question though.
Okay.
So the question that I have is, as a doc, when I was I was quote unquote playing around with Facebook ads. Mm-hmm. I was, because I didn't know what I was doing. Mm-hmm. But it seemed like anyone could do it, right? I mean, how I would put up an image, I would put up what I thought was a bold statement or a question, and I would get no results. Right. So how important is it that they have the actual correct statement, the wording? How important is that? And then also even the imagery, how important is that as well?
Yeah, it's super important. It's more than just a post or putting a post up. It's thought out and it's methodical. So what you want to do when it comes to the actual ad post, there's one thing that people care about, especially when it comes to Facebook. You have to understand that these people are not going to Google and saying, "I'm back pain." Right? These people they're on Facebook. So understand the traffic source, that they are not searching for you, but you are showing up. So there's a difference. And so because of that, you have to have copy or text that will grab their attention. All right. So what you want to do, what I do typically as a strategy on mine, is you want to call out, hey, so-and-so. So call out the city, the area, the neighborhood, call them out. And then what you want to do is talk about the symptom. Talk about the symptom that they might be going through. So you might say something like, neck and back pain, yada, yada, yada. Right? So be specific in those ads to something that they can correlate with. The biggest thing after that is focus on what's in it for me. That's what they are asking. Why should I read the rest of your text, first off? Why should I click on the link? So if you can answer that, what's in it for me? Well, that's where the solution comes in. If you're having neck and back pain, if you're having migraine headaches, I'm hosting this free dinner to show you how you can XYZ, right? And so the cool thing is, once you come up kind of with this outline, you use that same outline, what's the word? Like throughout the entire campaign. Mm-hmm. So you use the same messaging throughout, meaning make sure that ad text matches, like the headline matches the text. And then when they click the ad, make sure that whatever page you're taking them to, make sure that that matches all the way through. And congruency, there it is.
There it is.
That's the word I'm looking for. With ad image, just to drop a cool nugget for you, something that I figured out is images, don't use stock images. As much as you want to look pretty and polished, don't do it. So just use like a casual image of the doctor if you have a kid or something, you know, if you're married. And then also adding that image of the restaurant, even. The restaurant or food. Because you want people to know that this is real. They're already thinking, dude, someone's buying a free dinner. What's the catch? What's the catch? Is this real? Right? So acknowledge that those objections are going to be there and provide as much real pictures as you can to help overcome that objection.
Great advice. Because, yeah, I mean, again, I'm going to pull from what you're saying here, too, is that, you have to think about why and where you're pulling your traffic from. So right. Facebook, it's all about social engagement. And you also have to make sure you don't get put into Facebook jail.
Yes.
Because Facebook, whenever you write ad copy or you have a title or a question and an image, you have to always ask yourself, is this something that's going to be casual engagement? Is this something that's, people are, is social? And those are the ones that are more attracted. Something I wanted to ask you too is what do you find? What would you recommend? Like, should a doc use video or should they use an image? Which is more effective?
All right, so this is what I always say. This is what I've seen. Ironically, my images have always outperformed video. This is ironic, but there's a but to it. I always say do video anyway, because if you run them kind of side by side, you'll get quantity with your images, but you'll get quality with those that watch the video, if that makes sense. So I don't want to take away from a person being able to bond and connect with someone via a video. But definitely, like, I know a lot of people say video. Video is useful in certain areas, but when it comes to this specific direct response, like dinner type campaign, that's what I've seen across the board is ironically the image will convert better. So you'll get more leads with the image. But again, I don't discourage running the video because that's where you can get the quality. You build that know, like, and trust. So it kind of is a balance. It balances out.
Interesting. Hey, I have an idea. What if docs did this? Like they ran two campaigns. So they did video. So I'm not a Facebook ads expert, by the way. So what if they ran video, but really the purpose of the video is to build the audience. So the people that are clicking, you can actually track them, and then you use that tracking to actually then pixel them, like so that they're actually going to see your dinner with a doc ad.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was going to be one thing that I recommended is with Facebook, man, it's amazing how much you can track. So if you wanted to do a video ahead of time, make sure you have enough time ahead of your dinner. Do a video. Whatever the subject or topic matter is for your dinner, do like a straight, like, here's 3 stretches to help with sciatica pain or something like that. Do a short video. Keep them 1 to 2 minutes max. Run traffic to that video. And what you can do is you can retarget. Facebook will track, how much of percentage of your video that person has watched. And so what you can do is if you're worried, like, man, I want quality people here. Well, okay, when we start running your actual campaign for the dinner, so let me rewind, 30 days away from your dinner, maybe for 2 weeks, run a video. For 2 weeks, run a video. After 2 weeks, 2 weeks before your dinner, retarget those that have engaged with your video. You can do 50%, 10 seconds, 95%, however you want to go. You can get a video view for like 3 cents. You can get them really cheaper if you want, but for the more specific symptom-based, you're looking at 3 to 5 cents a view. I've seen, if you want someone to watch your entire video, depending on if you're good on camera, it takes practice. But Yeah, I mean, you could, like, for like 20 cents, where else can you go and spend 20 cents and someone listens to you for like 2 minutes, right? So
Yeah.
so
I agree.
that's a pretty cool strategy you can do. It's definitely not like, I don't want to say that to discourage people that say, oh, I don't want to do video, so this won't work for me. But for those that's like bonus points right there.
Yeah. It's I think actually, so I'm gonna also just take this a little more into the clouds versus like, because really, like, I always talk to clients like, we're in the clouds or we're in the dirt. So dirt is like, we're talking about pixels and tracking and campaigns and retargeting. It's like, okay, what? Whereas clouds, we're talking strategy, right? So really I'm just gonna just straight up say this for most docs. I mean, if you're a doc who's like, Ed, I don't know what you're talking about tracking, I don't know what you're talking about pixel, I don't know any of these things. That's where, like, even for myself, that's where I actually go to the experts. So people ask me often, Amber, they'll say, like, how do you get success so quickly in your life? I hire people who are best at what they do.
Right.
That's it, straight up. Right. So, so that's a perfect segue then I'm going to mention one other thing is that you had talked about numbers and numbers. So know your case visit average too. I mean, believe it or not, I think there's some docs who don't really know what their case visit average is. So how many of those people are converting, sticking to care, and then really where they're actually, if it's a massive profit gen for them, so that they know whether it's something they should be investing in. And I suspect that it is, because there's a lot of chiropractors who are doing it. So straight up. So let's go here. So tell us about the offer. Tell us about what's inside of the opportunity that you're offering to chiros for free.
Yeah. So my biggest thing is, whether people decide to work with me, they want to do it themselves, it doesn't really matter. The thing is about getting the message of chiropractic out, right? So what I've done is I've taken where some of the challenges that I've seen with not just my clients, but just people that I've talked to in general that maybe have tried doing the dinners and they haven't been successful, or maybe they've never done a dinner, they don't know if they'll work. So what I've done is a couple of things. Number one, I put together what I call a Facebook ad cheat sheet, a dinner with a doc Facebook ad cheat sheet. So that's first portion is really going to hone in on letting you know, like, is this for me? Can I actually make this profitable? I literally bullet point some of the things that you want to make sure that you have in place to see, like, should I even try this or not? So that's thing number one. And then what I did on the back end is I actually took some of my templates and I created fill in the blank templates, literally from start to finish. When I say from start to finish, it's not just the Facebook ad. It's, like I said before, there's so many moving pieces to making this work. So what I did was, fill in the blank. Here's Facebook ad text. Here's a headline you can use. Here's what your images can look like. Here's what I make my images look like. Follow-up emails. Right? Follow-up emails. I've prepared like 4 pre-written follow-up emails that you can just take and use to help engage people between the time that they opt in. So the time that you get their name, email, and phone number, and the time that you start your dinner. Right? Like, I didn't even get into that strategy, but one of the biggest things that people, they like, man, the show up rate is kind of low. Well, know those numbers. Like, I can tell you percentages, like from start to finish. On average, the number of leads that you generate, this is what I'm seeing across the board. And of course I've seen higher, but on average, the number of leads that you generate, of those, about 50% of them you'll actually reach on the phone. Of that 50%, you'll have a certain amount that will confirm. And of those people that say, yes, I will be at your dinner, only about a third of them are going to show up. So if you go in knowing this, sorry, I just had to drop that. Because
okay.
That's huge. I'm sorry. I know I derailed a little bit. But those are the things you need to kind of know. So at any rate, I've plugged in emails to help get people to show up. So just you fill in the blanks with the email. So you've got 4 emails there. The other big concern is, what does my staff say on the phone? Like, what do they say? So what I did was I actually have helped my clients with the script on what to say on the phone and how to even kind of qualify and tell who's actually has an issue versus who's #free dinner, right?
Right.
And literally, like, you can literally say, well, okay, you ask these certain questions and great, it sounds like this dinner is for you. And then you actually have the ability to say, you know what, I really don't know if this dinner will, you have the option. They have the option. I'm not going to, because you never know when people get there. But the script is essentially designed to help qualify people. Awesome. So I did that script. Man, there's so much stuff in there. Did I cover everything that's in there?
There's probably more.
Yeah.
So whenever I can't remember what I put in a product or service, or whenever I can't remember the free stuff I'm giving away, I just put mucho.
A lot. It's a lot. Yeah. Well, the thing is this. I want you to be successful. That's it. That's it. And so, tools and resources. Some of the tools that I use that you can give your staff to help make it as easy as possible on the stress on the back end. So I've kind of put that all in a package, and so that's kind of what I wanted to put out there for everyone.
Beautiful. Okay, so listeners, you can head over to thechiropracticphilanthropist.com. We're going to have a webpage dedicated to our discussion with Amber Jones today as well. And we're going to have all the links to the resources she's provided, including that free resource for the Dinner with a Doc campaign. Basically step 1 to done. I love it. If you have any questions as well, maybe we'll include some contact information there for Amber as well. If you're listening on your mobile, like 60% of you are right now, expand open your show notes and you'll see all the clickable links right there. You can head over on your mobile right now and actually grab those resources. Amber brought it today. I love giving value. I mean, I love having, talking about stories and the struggles and the failures and all these things with chiropractors as well. But I also love helping chiropractors be just more successful. And like you said, it is really all about turning more people onto the light of chiropractic. So I want to thank you so much for coming on and giving back today.
Man, thank you so much for having me. It's such a huge privilege.
So you've heard the struggles, you've heard the successes, and this episode is done. But there's still so much more to come and so much more to learn. Head on over to thechiropracticphilanthropist.com and sign up for our newsletter, where you'll receive free practice building tips and strategies, including how to market your practice with your very own podcast and so much more. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on The Chiropractic Philanthropist.